In the co-main event of Agro 38, Kane versus Ned 2 for the PlayStation 170-pound strap, we run back another PlayStation title fight. This one between Jamie and former champ BUMROCK MMA King for the PlayStation 145-pound belt. Their first fight, was a 5-round grinder, with Jamie getting the split decision nod. Could see a repeat in that. Nice respect shown by both competitors. Now, BUMROCK did get the initial takedown blocked. Pushes Jamie against the fence. But again, it's a small moral victory. With a chain wrestler like Jamie, you can expect not one, but many takedowns coming. Now, former champ BUMROCK did have some great knees in the clinch here. Really effective work. But, you know, it's difficult because he finds himself on his back again. And that's really just the story of this 25 minutes, which is what we'll get into in rounds 2, 3, 4, and 5, of course. But it's so hard getting anything going on the feet with a guy who's just content with taking you down and pretty much laying on you. That's what, outside of all the submission attempts that Jamie had, he spent the majority of some rounds as a position grappler, as opposed to maybe doing some ground and pound. Jamie choosing to end this in that rubber guard position here, trying to sweep into top mount to really conclude the first 5 minutes with a cherry on top. And again, you have to give that one to the challenger. Former champ found himself getting controlled for the majority of that 5 minutes, and with the submission attempt, I believe that is going to be a 10-9 for Jamie. Jamie here setting up this go-go plata. 3 minutes left in the second round. Now, this one was a little tighter. This one kind of spooked BUMROCK, if I remember correctly. Again, though, the submission defense is absolutely commendable. Not somebody that you want to get put in positions with. Jamie, of course, having, I believe, the most submissions in Agro history, and BUMROCK defending each one on this night very nicely. Gets back to the feet. Round 3, Jamie once again looking for that takedown early off of a nice, quick sway, little dodge off that jab offering. Again, BUMROCK, though, having some great success with the transition denials, right? You can see he pushes Jamie here against the fence, gets the trip of his own. Nice little judo throw over the hip as he did there. You can see BUMROCK working really effectively off of his back here, finding his way into this full guard and maintaining it against a guy like Jamie is not something easy to do. Trying to set up his own submissions, but it just doesn't really seem to be working. Jamie wise to them as he rides past the hips into side control. This is an interesting way to end the third round here. Going for more of a joint sub as opposed to a choke. Maybe Jamie testing out whether or not that was a better route to victory as opposed to the chokes, which, again, didn't really seem to be working now 15 minutes into this title fight. Jamie, if he wants a finish, might have to switch things up, and that's what he's trying to do right there. Now, round 4 starts with a lot of striking from the challenger. Abandons that takedown, and see, he gets that head kick right there. Goes for that hand plant, little roundhouse kick, and he's just working effectively here right now, which is something different, right? Again, the first 3 rounds, he started either going with the takedown. BUMROCK got the takedown in round 2, and then this time he comes out really aggressive and sort of overwhelms BUMROCK there for a moment. Could see BUMROCK doing a lot of effective work denying the transition to Jamie and getting his way back to the feet. Goes to the body there and really digs into those ribs. So you can tell, right, BUMROCK, he has the ability to be effective on the feet, but it's just so neutralized by the takedown threat that Jamie has presented. Now, the last 5 minutes were basically the same that this entire fight has been. Jamie just going for the takedowns and controlling and the submission attempts. It's pretty cut and paste. from many of his other fights here. BUMROCK showing a little bit more urgency on the feet. Maybe I like how he's trying to mix things up with the clinch work. But again, it's almost too little too late. You can see his stamina is just drained, and he's on his back yet again. Can see here Jamie trying out another one of those joint subs. BUMROCK submission defense holds up. This is a concern, though, for Jamie potentially coming into the rematch. I mean, this has been 5 rounds of submission attempts, and BUMROCK really wise to every single one of them as he throws up his own omoplata attempt here. Back to the feet, BUMROCK again, worse for wear in the cardio department, but looking for a Hail Mary in the last 90 seconds, gets that little sway cross in there, goes for a sway hook, not landing, but working it back to the middle of the octagon, jabs, or rather ducks, big overhand, but it doesn't do anything. Now, this is something that the commentators of this fight had touched upon, but realistically, that should have been a larger moment than it ended up being. Former champ BUMROCK displaying a little bit of a lackluster fight IQ, going for a submission attempt at the end of this round. You really could have just ridden it out and tossed up the ground and pound to end it. That would have been a much more effective kind of way to put a stamp on this 5th and final round. Jamie, of course, gets the sweep very easily and slaps on a submission attempt I just had a stroke. Slaps on a submission attempt of his own to end the fight and secure the title. Again, this was a split decision, 48-47 for Jamie on 2 of the judges' scorecards, 48-47 for BUMROCK on the 3rd. So there is a little bit of contention about and dispute over who really won. However, when you look back at the fight and you look at the ineffectiveness of BUMROCK's striking and, you know, look, he was great on the ground. He worked well off of his back, much better than many of Jamie's other opponents, but it's just not enough to get the job done for the Hulk. Loses the title in, I'm going as far to say, lackluster fashion. This fight really didn't have many fireworks in it, and I can't expect anything truly entertaining in the rematch. I mean, this is going to be, in my mind, a rinse and repeat performance from now current champ Jamie. This was how he got back to the top, man. I mean, he got back to the top by doing just this, going for the takedowns frequently and the submissions often. So maybe BUMROCK has addressed the takedown defense issues, but yeah, I can't say that this is well, it is what it is.